As London dealt with a deadly terror attack outside Parliament this week, leaders of 68 nations met here in Washington to assess their strategy to destroy ISIS or Daesh. And we sat down for an exclusive interview with one of the leaders of the war on terror, the Prime Minister of Iraq, Haider al-Abadi. Mr. Prime Minister, welcome to Fox News Sunday.
Welcome to you.
Let's start with the terror attack in London, which at the very least appears to be ISIS-inspired. What are your thoughts about what Europe, the U.S., the West can do to prevent these kinds of attacks?
I think at the moment we are at a very important juncture where Daesh is on the retreat. We in Iraq has been killing Daesh, removing them from our land, and we are killing their aim, so that recruits are at minimal at the moment. So what they're trying to do now, they're trying to attract more recruits by doing these acts, criminal acts. We should be focused, we should be concentrated to remove this ugly, dangerous terrorist organization.
But you're saying that the success in the Middle East is spawning these attacks in the West.
Yeah, for simple reason. It's like somebody is dying who's trying just to flex his muscle at the last moment. So the only way forward is to kill their hope, just to finish them. Then they will not have any hope to commit such criminal acts.
In your meetings this week with President Trump, with the summit of nations that's fighting ISIS, was there any agreement on a new strategy to fight and destroy ISIS in the Middle East?
I don't think there's a final version of us agreeing on like a plan, but I've seen that there is commitment from the U.S., especially from the administration, and of course from Congress, to continue to support Iraq and to continue to stay focused on eliminating Daesh.
President Trump at various points over the last year has talked about having a secret plan to defeat ISIS. Did he share that with you?
Well, I don't think he'll share it if it's secret, but I think my belief, as I understood, that plan is not ready yet. It is still in its draft format and still is not there.
How close in Iraq, in Syria, how close is ISIS to defeat?
Well, in Iraq is there. I think the defeat is sure, is definite. We'll finish the job in a very short time. It is within reach.
By when?
Within the next few weeks.
Within the next few weeks, Daesh, ISIS will be gone from Iraq?
Yes, militarily. We are defeating them militarily. As a terrorist organization, as I said before, they will try. So that's where we need the efforts of others to flesh them out in Syria and other places.
There are now 5,000 U.S. troops in Iraq, and the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, General Dunford, talks about wanting to keep troops in your country for a long time.
We have, as has NATO, begun a dialogue about a long-term commitment to grow the capacity, maintain the capacity of Iraqi security forces, but no decisions have been made yet.
How many U.S. troops do you want in Iraq, and for how long?
We are concentrating on training, logistical support, and intelligence cooperation and gathering. These are three important elements which I think we need some U.S. troops to stay in Iraq to continue the task.
So if we now have 5,000 troops there to complete the kind of mission you're talking about, to train and assist, how many U.S. troops will you need?
I think much less than the existing one. Of course, with the war done, the task required will be much less than at present. So we'll be looking at a lower number than the existing.
1,000?
I think it's a bit more. Fighting terrorism is a priority for us, and should be a priority for everybody. I know it's a priority for the United States, but we should be on the same chapter on this.
I want to follow up on that. Do you see a difference between President Trump's determination to destroy ISIS and President Obama's?
I can see a very powerful determination to defeat Daesh.
But more determination with President Trump than President Obama?
Well, yes, I can see that determination. President Obama didn't want to get involved in the first place. He just wanted to forget Iraq. And I think coming back to Iraq was sort of imposed on him because of Daesh, what they have done by crossing the Syrian-Iraqi border and occupied about 40% of Iraqi land, slaughtering people, So there was a lot of pressure on President Obama to come to the help of Iraq. Well, I think at the moment there is understanding that Iraq is an ally, and we should keep on working with Iraq to support Iraq to stand against terrorists.
During the campaign and even as president, Mr. Trump has talked about taking Iraq's oil as a way to repay the U.S. for all the money we have spent in your country.
The old expression, to the victor belong the spoils. You remember I always used to say, keep the oil. So we should have kept the oil, but okay. Maybe you'll have another chance.
One, what do you think of that? And two, did you tell the president directly in your meeting?
Yes, I did. I told Mr. President, Iraqi oil is for Iraqis. There is no question about that.
Did it upset you that he was suggesting that the U.S. could take your oil?
Of course, it upsets every Iraqi. It upsets every citizen. I don't think one should say that. This is a wealth of the country, the wealth of the people. There's no right for any foreign country to take over the wealth of another country.
One of the reasons that you came to Washington is because you would like continued U.S. support as you try to rebuild Iraq after the war, after the attack by ISIS. But President Trump announced in his new budget that he's cutting foreign aid by 30%.
We are not begging. We have been fighting on the ground, fighting ISIL, Daesh, with our own blood, with our own sacrifices. And this is a danger to the whole world. But we need much more to win the peace rather than winning the war, after winning the war. And this, I think, is a responsibility of all our partners. It shouldn't be just thrown on Iraq.